All right, and welcome back to the Nugget Bridge Invitational. We are currently in, I believe, game two of Mr. Bopper versus Darkness. We currently have we just received their teams on file, and we have, excuse me, uh, Darkness. Excuse me, my streaming hotkey is keeps moving my notes right as I'm about to view them, so I'll have to get them from IRC. Darkness is using Thunderous, Full Corona, Latios, Bisharp, Tyranitar, and Conkeldurr, so a very metagame team. And Mr. Bopper is using a more defensive team in Gyarados, Amoonguss, Excadrill, Tyranitar, Thunderous, Therian Form, and Cresselia. So what do you think of that matchup, Dewey?
I think it's going to be a good battle to watch. Gyarados, up and coming Pokemon, even though it's been around since Generation 1. Gyarados just recently top 4 nationals with Dimitri's team, Dark Soul SP67. So Gyarados is definitely Pokemon to watch, but Darkness does have that Intimidate counter in Bisharp. Defiant, as you can remember from the previous battle with the Cybertron Unreality, was just so dominating.
Yeah,
Bopper also has Excadrill, T-Tar, Common, Sand Leads, and just in general, it's a good stuff team. Amoonguss, Gyarados, that's been a pretty good popular duo because Amoonguss pretty much resists whatever Gyarados is weak to besides Rock, and Amoonguss can just draw away those electric attacks, so it's going to be a good battle to watch.
yeah, and these two trainers have selected their Pokemon, and now we're just waiting for things to get started here. Mr. Bopper on bottom and Darkness up top. And it sends out Captain Falcon, I'm gonna guess that's the Conkeldurr, and Thunderbro the Thunderous. And on bottom we get Amoonguss, Tyranitar, another popular duo.
Yeah,
Um,
looking at these, I'd have to say the initial lead advantage probably goes to I kind of want to say Darkness because that Conkeldurr threatens Tyranitar, Thunderous can threaten the Amoonguss, but of course Amoonguss with Rage Powder will be able to redirect attacks. So that's definitely that's definitely up in the air for Bopper.
yeah, and something to keep in mind, ever since Conkeldurr got Iron Fist, Ice Punch became a really popular option on it. So depending on what the speed numbers look like, you might be able to hit that Amoonguss.
Yeah, Ice Punch will definitely be a good move to hit. Thunderous always threatening with that hidden power flying. Even a taunt, even a taunt might disrupt the Amoonguss and what it can do.
All right. So Tornadus retreats, doesn't want to face off against that Conkeldurr, and Thunderous Therian form, which generally walls Thunderous incarnate form, as Amoonguss protects itself, which blocks a taunt, and uh, Conkeldurr gets the Drain Punch off on Thunderous Therian form, gets some massive damage off despite being resisted, and reveals the Life Orb. All right, now sand damage is off, and what do you make of that turn, Dewey?
Bopper definitely read into the possible Ice Punch or the taunt coming, and he protected his Moongus, but then that Life Orb Conkeldurr just does so much damage with the Iron Fist, Life Orb, Stab, just so much.
Yeah, but it whittles away at Conkeldurr's life, and you could see that it's already missing about 1/6 of it, not 1/6, 10% plus 1/16 of its health.
Yeah, but it's definitely going to get it back pretty fast if it Drain Punches something that's super effective.
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things about Conkeldurr, the ability to sustain itself. And now we're waiting on Mr. Bopper to select his moves, and you can see he's dwelling on that Amoonguss choice. What do you think he's thinking?
He's probably thinking right now whether or not Darkness is going to attack and try to knock out that Amoonguss, or anything like that. I mean, Thunderous Eye from Darkness also threatens Thunderous T with the Hidden Power Ice, possibly. So it's definitely kind of a sticky situation for both trainers, and they definitely have to think about what they're gonna both do.
Yeah, this is probably a critical turn here, really early on in this match. Whether you keep Mungus standing whether or not you're going to protect that Thunderous Therian form. It's also kind of curious to see what that Thunderous up top's doing. What do you think?
With Taunt, I kind of want to say it might be a bulkier set, which might allow the Thunder's T to outspeed, so we'll just see as the turn comes.
And but meanwhile, the uh, Exegil, one of the best Thunderous incarnate counters, comes out, and Thunderous taunts the Excadrill, which isn't really going to do much for it other than not allowing it to protect. And it unveils the hidden power, most likely hidden power flying due to the targeting on Conkeldurr. And I believe that Darkness got some pretty good information that turn.
Definitely. Um, I believe that Mach Punch has a chance of knocking out. Oh no, that's a bulky Exegil. Never mind.
Is that the HP number for a bulky Excadrill?
Uh, Excadrill usually does not have that much HP, so it probably is. Probably invested a lot of, probably trained to have a lot of HP.
Do you think that with that extra training that it might be able to stand up to Conkeldurr a little bit better despite the Life Orb? Maybe it can survive a Life Orb Mach Punch?
It probably will. I barely got knockouts when my Conkeldurr was facing off against standard Excadrills.
And Bopper selecting both of his moves, and he knows he's got a free shot at that Conkeldurr since he just protected that last turn. And the Excadrill is taunted, so it cannot protect, which is kind of an undervalued thing in taunt. Thunderous retreats from the field, and Tyranitar comes out, which is going to increase the speed of Excadrill, um, but it's going to at least threaten the Thunderous Therian. And now Latios is taking over. Uh, and it goes for the earthquake, and it's gonna hit that Tyranitar for some massive damage, but it's not gonna hit anything else on the field. And hidden power comes out, most likely hidden power flying, hitting what was a Conkeldurr, and now hits Aladios for some respectable damage. It's gonna be a solid 2-hit KO. And now sand damage is on the field, and hurts the Latios and the Thunderous Therian form. Now, we don't know about that Tyranitar, whether it's scarfed or whether it's bulky, but we do know that Excadrill is faster than anything, but you can't use Protect. So, thanks to that taunt from Thunderous. And, um, yeah, so now we're just waiting for moves to come in. Tyranitar doesn't want to take another Earthquake, so it leaves. And now it's time for Conkeldurr to make an entrance again, who posing a threat to that Excadrill and can threaten a Mach Punch, even on the Thunderous, excuse me. Amoonguss comes in, and Latios decides to save up, puts up a Protect, doesn't take any damage, and Excadrill throws up that Rock Slide. It's going to do negligible damage to the Conkeldurr, which resists it due to its fighting typing. And now Sandstorm takes in, and Latios is losing more and more health each turn. Alright, so that Amoonguss with Rage Powder can redirect any attacks towards Excadrill, showing some awesome synergy there aside from the fighting typing. I mean, the fire type moves hitting both Pokemon. So it's going to be interesting watching how Darkness reacts to this. He's going to go for that Mach Punch. There was no Rage Powder thrown out, so it's not going to be redirected. And with Life Orb, we'll see how much this does combined with Iron Fist. Fails to pick up the KO, loses some HP, throws out the Rock Slide, which is going to probably finish off that Latios and do some negligible damage again. But now Amoonguss is free to possibly throw out a Giga Drain or maybe even a Spore. And it does throw out a Spore, so it's going to spend some time there. And yeah, so it looks like a pretty good turn for Mr. Bopper. Latios is fainted and Conkeldurr's asleep.
Yeah, that spore is pretty big. That Conkeldurr taking naps, so good position for a Bopper.
Yeah, Moongus, one of those Pokemon that was really popular after Nationals, being on teams like Humans, I should say.
He was also on King of Kongs as well. So I mean, it had a really strong showing at Nationals. Regenerator, such a great ability for it.
The superior mushroom. But anyways, with Conkeldurr unable to threaten Excadrill, and Thundurus is also walled by Excadrill, and throws out a taunt, so it's gonna hit Amoonguss, which will disable its support options, barring a Mental Herb, which does not come out. And Rock Slide is going to hit both Pokemon, doing significant damage to Thundurus and hitting Conkeldurr for chip damage. And it's revealed that this is a bulky Thundurus with Citrus Berry.
Citrus Berry is just so disheartening because you just damage a Pokemon and then it just heals back and you're just like, oh man, how can I knock it out?
Yeah, world champion Ray Rizzo always used to say, if he could, he would put on 6 Citrus Berries on his Pokemon.
Citrus Berry is probably one of the best items in the game at the moment.
And this just in, Bopper apparently has Substitute on his Excadrill, and it turns out in Game 1, which was not shown before, he revealed Dragon Dance Tyranitar.
Dragon Dance Tyranitar is a good Pokemon. I mean, everybody loves the Scarf variant. It's just the Dragon Dance Tyranitar gets the attack boost as well, so that makes the Rock Slide pick up a lot of KOs that it usually doesn't get.
Yeah, and as you can see, Mr. Bopper is frustrated that he can't use Spore after that taunt, so he could possibly Giga Drain against the super effective Tyranitar, but it's going to be interesting since this Excadrill can only hit one Pokemon at a time, so who would you hit?
Thundurus, definitely. It's just the bigger threat. I would have Giga Drain there, but
But he takes out Amoonguss for a Thunderous Therian form and opts to go for the opposite target, gets the Earthquake, is going to finish off that Tyranitar and faint it.
it's a
And
solid move. That's also a
solid.
very solid move.
Yeah, especially considering Thunderous Therian with its ability Volt Absorb uh, regains health upon getting hit by an electric type move. But it just got hit by Hidden Power, and judging by that damage and the not very effectiveness, it was Hidden Power Flying, the more common of the metagame choices right now.
Yeah, that was a good move by Bopper there. Targeted down the bigger threat.
Yeah, so now it's 2v1. Both Pokemon do a pretty good job at slaying Thundurus. So it looks like this game is going to go to Mr. Bopper, who
It was a good game.
sets
It
up a
was a good
substitute
game.
though.
Just
Uh,
making sure. Just making sure.
gets that Thunderbolt off, and most likely will pick up the KO and the match. So pretty strong performance by Mr. Bopper. Um, so what'd you think of all that?
I mean, 4-0. A 4-0 is always hard to get. So props to Bopper for playing that match extremely well.
All right, and this just in, Mr. Bopper apparently won game 1, so that was also set point. Our apologies for not informing you that since we joined in the middle of the set. But Bopper was looking pretty strong there. I was impressed.
Bopper made some pretty good moves there. Protected his team really well, got in all the right switches, predicted his opponent just perfectly. And yeah, I mean, it showed in the 4-0. So props to Bopper, props to Darkness for coming here and showing us what he's got. It just wasn't enough. Bopper takes it.